Sure. When we talk about commissions, again, depending on what you're selling, Kyrie here is selling some pool cleaning supplies, gets 15%. So once you know how much they've sold, all you're going to have to do is take your percent, turn into a decimal, multiply that times however much you sold, and you'd see how much your pay is going to be. Commissions also, it depends from time to time. Sometimes you'll get some guaranteed money as you go, but most of the time it's not going to be very much. So you're going to have to really hustle and grind if you're going to be working on commission. You can make a lot of money, but you also can make not very much money at all. So that can get to be a little bit of an issue. So for us to kind of play with one here at the start, and then I'm going to throw a couple other pieces into this. As we flip over to 24, okay, 20% commission. Okay, we're doing better. Once you know how much you have, again, your percentage is just going to be the percentage they give you divided by 100. So that's where that would come from. Okay, and I just put it in the wrong spot. I can see this already. That's my decimal. 20% would be my decimal. I got to go in the right order here. So our commission then, the actual value to us, is going to be our sales times the decimal. Let me move this up a little bit. So it looks like we got about $2,716.40. And that would be what Robin made in commission. So pretty straightforward. It's almost like doing the whole discount thing before, except instead of giving the money away, we're putting it in our pocket. Not a bad deal. So again, I'm not going to go crazy with some of these, but I am going to jump down to the second example on 25. So if you have salespeople, sometimes, not every time, they'll get what's called a retainer. And the retainer is just, hey, you know, I know you got to get by with something, so here's a few $100 this week. Now get out there and sell something. Is basically what we're going to do. So the one with Kim wouldn't change that at all. It'd just be $18,000 multiplied by the 5%. But the one I want to check into with you is the second one. So John is a car salesman. He's paid a weekly retainer of $280. So he's going to get that money no matter what. If he doesn't sell a thing, he's still going to get that. Plus 3.5% of the value of the cars he sells. Calculate his income if he sells cars worth $84,000. Okay. So first things first, turn your 3.5% into its decimal form. And then multiply that times the sales for the week. That is going to be my commission. And we just add them up. Again, we don't have a retainer every single time, but if it mentions that, we're just going to add that. That does not get multiplied by our commission percentage at all. That's a completely separate part of the amount of money that we're making. So we got straight commission. We've got commission with a retainer. You're like, there's more commission? There is in some cases. Do I want to do that one? Yes. Yes, that is the other one. So here comes a little interesting, different part of this. When we get to example 3, you're like, okay, James is paid a commission of 2.5% of the value of the book sales he makes in excess of $3,000, more than $3,000. In 1 week, James sells books to the value of $11,500. Calculate his income. So check out the note here. There is no commission for sales up to $3,000. So if he sells from $0 to $3,000, he gets nothing at all. Zero, zilch, nada, none. But once he goes over that value, he'll get 2.5% of that. So I don't get to multiply 11,500 times 2.5%. I have to first take the amount he sold, subtract the amount that I had to get to, that's the amount I'm going to be looking to get the commission on. So once I know that, now I can multiply by, again, the decimal form of my percent. And see, for all that stuff I sold, what? I think I'd go find myself another job. So I sold $11,500 of the stuff and I get $212.50. Yeah, some just don't seem right about that. But I mean, that's what it is. That's how this works. So maybe James normally sells more books in a week. I'm not sure. And so, again, commission can be in steps, depending on how you do it. Here it was nothing to something. The last one here, a little bit different of a step. Real estate agent is paid according to the following rates. 2% on the first 100,000, then 1.5% on anything after that. He's also paid a weekly retainer of $710. Holy cow. Calculate the agent's income by selling property valued at $420,000. Okay, so first things first. 2% on the first 100,000. Okay, so first 100,000 times 2% would be $2,000. Okay, because we sold over 100,000, so that first 2% were there. Now I need to figure out, okay, how much over that did I sell? So since this week I sold 420,000, I take away the 100,000 I've already gotten a commission on. I know, it's like, would you want to be the accountant trying to figure out all this stuff? So there's 320,000 over. That I'm only going to get the 1.5% on. And remember, when we're doing this, keep dividing that percentage by 100. So really it's 0.015 that we're multiplying by. So that 1.5% is another 4,800. So you're like, okay, there's all my commission money. Add those up. So in commissions, I made $6,800, not too shabby. And then on top of it, I get a weekly retainer of $710. So, like, this is the best world of commission because I have guaranteed money and I also get a pretty decent percentage on a large amount of sales. Now, this is not the prototypical one that we do. Typically, it'll be one flat rate and that's it. But again, if we run into something else, we're going to have this available to be able to look through and find something that's similar. It's kind of wild. So they did that one for me. I want one that I can do. Here we go. We're going to fast forward a little bit. We're going to fast forward to 29. Because I don't want to stick you doing the same thing over and over. So, okay. Same type of deal. Rodney is selling summer vacays. All right. Commission. For sales up to 500, he gets 5%. For sales between 500 and 1,500, holy moly, he gets 6%. And for sales over 1,500, he gets 7%. So there's 3 different levels here that we're working with. So I look and I go, okay, this week he made $1,350. So his first commission is up to 500. So, well, he sold more than 500, so he'll have that whole number in here. He gets 5%. Again, divide that by 100, or just move your decimal point. And so commission number 1, we hope this is going to get better. We got 25 bucks out of that. So then I look and I'm like, okay, I sold 1,350. My first commission took up 500 of it. I already got paid on that part. So second commission availability is $850. So total minus the first one will get me here. So anything between 500 and 1,500, well, I didn't get all the way up to 1,500. So this $850, I will get the second commission rate for all that. And I get a 6% or 0.06 commission for that. So 850, 0.06, 51. Okay, it's a little better. But this week, okay, at $1,350, no third commission because I didn't sell enough. I'd have to get up to $1,500 for that, and I only made it to $1,350. So this time, I'm just going to add commission 1 and commission 2, and that's going to be, holy moly, I hope Rodney has another full-time job besides this, because he only made $76 this week. So again, I've got to read carefully, and it's not a bad idea to section things out like you do here, just so you can see how these work and kind of mess with this. So, I believe the last thing to play with, yes, is royalties. We're almost there, people. So, commission again, percentage, we got that. The reason I liked this one and put it in was I like the way that it talks about the good and bad of this. Okay? If you sell more, if you're a natural salesperson for people, you can sell anybody anything. You could sell ice to an Eskimo. Okay? This would be a good thing for you because you're probably going to make a lot of money. But you may only get a small guaranteed amount. So if it's not rolling for you that week, it can kind of hurt you in the pocketbook. And it's going to depend. In competition, if you work in a car lot, a furniture store, places like this, you're going to have other people that are going to be trying to get in on what you're doing. So you're also going to have to be aggressive when it comes to that, or they might just kind of butt right in front of you and grab your sale away. So it has its advantages and disadvantages. Now, royalty, the last thing we have not spoken about yet. Okay, again, creative artists, authors get royalties most of the time. If you have something that you can get a trademark on, you also can get a royalty if other people want to use your product. So again, books, paintings, movies, songs, If they use them to do something else, you're going to get a payment for it. So it's just going to be a percentage of the revenue. So you're like, so it's kind of like commissions. It is most of the time. If you have a better product, especially that lasts a long time, there are people that wrote songs and did movies in like the 60s and 70s that are still getting paid today for their work because it's kind of just generational. Also, flexible hours. I mean, if you make a product and then it's just making money for you, you're not even working on it. So it's kind of nice. But if your sales go down, so does your income. You don't have sick pay. You don't have holiday pay. There's nothing really going except you better hope that it keeps selling and selling and selling. So, royalties. One example, and then we'll get you to a little practice, and then we should be good. So, we'll play with both of these over on 32. We can actually see the 32. There it is. Thomas is an author and is paid a royalty of 18% of books sold. Find his royalties if there were 3,214 books sold at $34.50 each. Okay. So, first things first, we got to see how much there was in sales here. That's a lot. $110,883. Again, that's just multiplying the books times their price. His royalty, his part of that, is taking that 110.83, and he's going to get 18% of it. Which again is just taking that 110,883 and multiplying it by the 18%. Now, you may look at that and go, well, that doesn't seem real fair. You write a book, there's like $110,000 in sales, and you're only getting $19,000. But then again, you got to remember, let's say if you're selling it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble, they are printing the book, costs money. Shipping the book costs money. It's taking up space on their shelves where it is, or advertising it for you, which costs money. So you kind of start to see how that balances a little bit more. But it also lets you see, man, sell 3,000 of my books to make 20 grand. This book better be really good so I can sell a lot of them. Otherwise, I'm going to be writing a whole lot here, depending on how much time you put in. And yes, even royalties can have steps. Last example. Songwriter Lauren paid a royalty of 15.5% profit on all sales for music. If she sells 2,500 CDs to the value of $150,000 and gains 30% profit of all sales. You're like, okay, now wait a minute, Hardy. Read that last part again. Calculate the royalty Lauren earns if a song she writes sells 2,500 CDs to the value of $150,000, okay, and gain 30% profit of all sales. So here's the weird part. This time, you take the amount of sales, she gets 30% of the profit. Now, let's read back and read carefully. She gets 15.5% on the profit, not on the sales. So again, if you ever become famous, a famous writer, a famous songwriter, or anything, be very careful and have somebody really good with language when you go to sign a contract. Because Lauren isn't going to be getting 15.5% of the $150,000. That's the sales. She's going to get 15.5% on the profit, which is $45,000. So again, Watch out, watch out, watch out. You can always go and Google things, go on social media. There are people in professional sports, all those things all the time that sign bad contracts and then are like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Okay, and work through there. So quick story on the commission royalty. I don't have the exact numbers back in front of me, but I was reading it last week. One of the Chicago Bears rookies had signed a contract when he was back in college to get money while he was in college, while not realizing that the contract he signed guaranteed he was going to give 40% of his salary for his entire NFL career to the agents from college. And he's trying to get out of it right now. I don't think he's gonna. So, again, contracts are a big thing. There's something you're always going to want to make sure that you read very carefully to make sure you're not getting taken advantage of. So, now that we've played with those, you're going to be like, the work's not terrible for what you just had us deal with there. So, yes, ma'am. So, the part on getting paid with commission, that is probably going to run from place to place. I would imagine most of the time if you are getting commission pay, it normally would be by the week. I can't guarantee that, though. I've never worked with a commission. Let me look more to see. I'd say it for sure to be a week or 2 weeks, especially if you're not getting guaranteed money. Because that'd be kind of crazy. Otherwise, you could go like weeks or a month with no money. Ugh. That'd be awful. So, our practice today with the commissions and the royalties are just here on 33 and 34. This one sheet, front and back. Again, use some of the examples to try and figure out where it's going. I'm here to help if need be, but go back in there and kind of see. Even if you need to, rip page 33 and 34 out so you don't have, so as you're flipping through, you're not having to flip back and forth quite so much. And then tomorrow, we will wrap up this unit with piecework, figure out how these different things work, and then Friday we will have quiz number 1 of this unit.